the time of, since the beginning of the car, when he got involved in World Medical Relief. And there's some story I know that probably he forgot, but I will share that with you. At World Medical Relief, I will be turning 30 years. Here, World Medical Relief on August 21. And I've known Mr. Clark for more than 20 years. 25 years. Look at that, 25 years. And I have a small note here. He contributed so much in this organization. If you look at 25 years, and I've been here for 30 years, I was so young when I met him. I'm still young, by the way. There's so many projects at World Medical Relief, there's a lot of work, and he always involved in all these tasks at World Medical. And he's the kind of person that he always opens his heart, helping hands, that's him. He will help. Like the proposal we had before is to have the history book of World Medical Relief. Somebody would need to write the history book, right? And Mr. Carr is a member, or he started researching how this organization was founded, of course, you know, that in the archive. And he went and he discovered the house of Iron Oberlin down in Porter, Detroit. He went there. Of course, it was so right. He talked to them, don't you know that this is the house of the founder of World Medical Relief? I did not even know that. He told me, he said, George, I went there. So the archive, we have everything. He collected all this. He had written a lot of interviews from different places. As a matter of fact, there's a box here. All those came from Mr. Carr. And this book will still be written. But you're the one who started those files. And I have the history book here. And then one day you will receive a book. Only one day, probably in 2 years. And I just want you to know that you're the one who started all that. But it will come true. And I'm giving Mr. Carr credit for that because of those inspiration and because of those encouragement.
Awesome.
And one day also, at World Medical Relief, you know, we only have 2 docs there. I was in charge in the warehouse. And when I went outside in the warehouse, I saw a funeral car of hers. I said, what the heck, is somebody died in the building? Right? Of course, this is right inside the dock. And I said, why there's a funeral car here? There's a car here. Oh, that's Mr. Carr. He borrowed that from his friend to pick up supplies. I said, who? Mr. Carr. Why did you borrow this kind of car? Can you borrow? No, he said, this is wider and it's more comfortable. That's one thing. Then again, during the, of course, we are all aware about the pacemaker project. The pacemaker project, the research, like 13, 14 years ago. He came one day, he said, I had this for my friends. These are the pacemaker devices. And we don't really know what to do with these. And I said, well, Mr. Carr, these are the pacemaker. And then that story actually, he started that too. He's been collecting pacemaker devices long time ago. But look what we have here now in this building. The first and only in the world because of those pacemakers. He started collecting those long time ago. So in his hands, there's so many lives have been saved. So it's another inspiration. We were so inspired by that. So when I shared that to Dr. Regal, who's that board member? We only started talking about this, so he was already collecting pacemakers. That was true. And then in the old building, when we, with the support of Mr. Biden, Chairman Biden, of course, then the board members at the time, that we are planning to move out to the old building. We're looking for a building with more bay docks. I said, we need help. We need to find a building with more bay docks. But first, we have to make sure that the building is located in Detroit. He went, he searched. He went all around the city And the Cabot George, there's one in, there's one somewhere in Mount, and you want a piece of that, and they're selling that, and they got more 3 bay docks. He also helped me looking for building. But it so happened, we were not able to get a building down in Detroit, but we found one here in Southfield. But he did not end up there. He is a part of the renovation of this building. It's a car. And when we move in this building, these are all 14 units, right? We have to break down the walls to connect from the east side to the west side. You know how much work that we've done. Volunteers, of course, and the students. He removed the old rugs. It's very hard to remove old rugs. And he brought his, you brought something, some tools, chisel or something, and removing the old rugs and the old tiles. So that's it.
But you wouldn't let me do as much as I wanted.
Oh my God.
Yeah, because when you sit like this, you have to raise him up in order to stand up, right? It's very hard when you're doing that. So that hard work. He did a lot to this building.
Till a couple of years ago, he comes to my house and carry all these wheelchairs and fit him in his car and bring him in here.
That's
That
right.
was just not too long ago. God bless
That's right.
you.
So the contribution of Mr. Carr in this organization is really tremendous. And not only that, I'm not finished yet. We started getting a lot of volunteers from high school, from your, right? And when I made the calculation, before we don't really get a lot of volunteers from the universities, but from high school, yes. Again, he gave us inspiration and encouragement to establish partnership with different universities, because he started bringing those high school students here. At least I would say 200 to 300 a year when he brought those students.
Wow.
And if you're gonna look at the public relation side here, of course those students, they talk to their parents, right? They share, we were one medical leave and we volunteer there, and then it multiplies. And he started that. And we give him credit, and of course our late friend, they became so involved in the mission. And when I hear that Mr. Carr is coming, I know it's not only him. More are coming. That's him. So we know that. Then he was an inspiration to all of us. And also another thing, there's so many, but this one, this is very, very important here. This is a remarkable volunteer work that Mr. Carr contributed to this organization and to different nonprofits in the U.S. and outside the U.S. He created a missionary book. This missionary book, you could not just find it somewhere. But he researched all the first top 300 nonprofits in the United States. He put them, compiled them in the book. That's why until we discovered, as you know, the nonprofits, they have their own mission statements. Some in the book projects, okay, who are the nonprofits that are involved in book projects or education. And then you will see all those. And you will see agriculture, you will see food, you will see. And under the medical category, World Medical League, out of the 300, World Medical League is number 9 in the United States because of that. So I'm so proud, wow, you're number 9 in the US in terms of sending medical worldwide. So he researched was the top 300 in the US. So that's a big credit to Mr. Carr, and we are so very happy that we discovered that we are number 9 in the country in terms of sending medical supplies. So, and we get a lot of phone calls. Every time especially missionaries, when they get that book, they call us here. So it's another improvement, it's expansion. As you know that we're only sending, at the time in the old building, we're only sending probably 25 to 28 containers. At least here, if we weren't for the pandemic, 70 containers is easy for us. Because of that exposure, And of course, he helped us move in this building, and we have more bay docks. And I feel that we are so blessed with so many good people like him and Carol. And of course, he will never succeed with all this project without his loving wife. Because she's the one sometimes who drove him here. And then she will tell him, I'll come back after that. But she will make him work first. So we're so very proud of you, Mr. and Mrs. Carr. And you will be missed. And you're part of the family, and then keep us posted wherever you are. Since I have relatives in Ohio, I mean in Illinois, I told you very well. If I will be visiting my cousins in Illinois, make sure I will visit you there. So, Riverside, I'll give you the address. So, especially if one day we'll get a boat, I will deliver those stories for you. So those are the recollections I have for Mr. Carr. And you can find, it's very hard to find nowadays a kind of person like that with a good heart for the mission. And I know God's watching you, and I know that you just want to be with your family, of course. That's very, very important there. And be nice that they will be closer to you. If you know how to cook, that's easy for him to cross the street and get some food from your house, right?
We'll work that out.
Yeah. Don't let him use his bike. Okay, just so any help where you think we could be extend to you, Mr. Carr, Mrs. Carr, please let us know, and Josephine knows, and we just want to make sure that you have our support. Okay, and with the approval of the board, and fully recommended by the management and on the staff, we would like to bestow this plaque to you, and as a simple remembrance from you being a board member at All Medical Relief. So I will hand this over. He tried to capture all the essence of the work you have done for All Medical, but I would like to read this. He said, can you? I will read it and then I will turn it over to Mr. and Mrs. Carr. World Medical Relief, the logos on the top. Bruce and Carol Carr. We did not even say certificate of appreciation. We even removed that because you are part of this organization. Your continued commitment contributed so much to World Medical Relief's mission. You have given exemplary service by providing the first missionary directory for missionaries around the globe. You gave hope to the hopeless, encouragement to our volunteers, support and love to God's mission. Both your footprints in this building are signs of your kindness, compassion, and success to our organization. Given this third day of June 2021 at Southfield, Michigan, signed George Sampson and Chairman of the Board, Mike Bailey.
Awesome.
Nice.
Can they come over there and thank you. It's yours.
Oh, it does.
So,
And he also take a picture of it.
Very nice.
okay. Just want you to know that we love you both.
Well, thank you. There's one thing you did not mention I would like to.
Fuck it, please. I told you I did more. I need a long list.
I have a website,
Yes.
Worldwide.org.
helpingworldwide.org. And it's got approximately 400 organizations in it,
400 now. Look at that.
approximately 400,
Yes.
and about half of which are medically related. goal of my website is to bring together information to help in the most impoverished areas of the world. And it's not like I'm disinterested in places here locally. Obviously, we know that Detroit's the most impoverished large city in the country, and I'm proud for what World Medical Relief is doing right here in our own vicinity. But you compare that with needs in places like Haiti,
Yes.
in
Yes.
virtually all of Africa. Weimar Republic has been in the news a whole lot lately. Of course, your home country of Philippines, there's just no comparison. People say, well, how come you're putting all the time and effort into trying to help people in other countries? I say to them, do you have a toilet in your house? Is it flush? Do you have to worry when you turn the tap on that you have clean drinking water?
Yeah.
No. Well, that's not the way most people live.
Yeah.
So nobody's ever responded to me in that regard.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you for that. So probably we have to do something that we can share that to our missionaries to make sure that they know that website. Mr. Chairman, you want to say?
Yeah, I'll be very brief, Dr. Sampson. You know, Bruce, seeing you at Rosa Parks, we got to know you. You always have fellow volunteers. You are definitely part of the history of this organization, and I'm sure you're going to devote some of that to the book and some of the research you've done. I know as a board member, you're a very big supporter of the move here. We credit you with moving here. Some of the board members did not want to at the time. You encouraged the move, and primarily for the volunteers and bigger space. There's so much I could say and talk, but Dr. Sampson mentioned a lot of the history. And you know, every time I would visit, you're always here. You know, you're a big part of this organization. You're probably one of the biggest part of this organization. I'm sad to see you go. You know, moving, you know, to Illinois, but we are definitely grateful for all the services you've done. From the bottom of my heart, your wife, your family, thank you. And I know you have a strong belief in God, and you know, we really appreciate all you've done for us. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you.
So Greg Mason, you want to say something? If he will visit you in Illinois, you want to say something? I think you want to know the size of your house because you can say that. So Mace, one of the board members.
You know what? I'm one of the newer board members, and I'm looking at one of the senior board members, and I've got a lot of work to do to even begin to approach what you've done, Bruce. Just incredible. You were a beacon on the path, and where we started when you came along, and where we are. It's a pure act of faith, Bruce, and your faith brought us along too. We appreciate what you've done from the bottom of our heart.
Mr. Vice Chairman, Vice Chairman.
Whenever we say how much we appreciate you is not enough. I've never met a person, but maybe me. I think you're my role model because we never quit. Even not only that. Did you call this organization? This is will help your mission. Did you?
Yeah, you always do
like
that.
sometimes it's like I need a break, but when I see people like you, it's like I feel God is telling me, go on, and you are one of the people that inspired me all these years. And you never give up on that. And I think your passion, and me and you and some other people have, charity is addiction for us, is a good addiction. So that's how I label it, and that's what is, I believe, you know, prayers are important, but helping the sick and poor is actually completed our duty toward God. And you did that, and I really appreciate you. There's a lot more you did that it takes time to, but we always thank you forever.
Thank you. Mr. Jidan?
Well, honestly, what I've been hearing from everybody, and I see it in the board meetings and all that, you have a noble cause in your heart, and you express that you need the great work in World Medical Relief, and your passion about the people that need help, that in different countries, that we don't feel it here. We are so privileged in everything we have, but different countries have nothing compared to what we have. And your passion to help those people, it's a noble cause. And we thank you so much for that.
Thank you. Sebastian, you want to say something?
Sure. Mr. Carr, I want to thank you for allowing Kathy and I to partake in the development of World Medical Relief. What we can contribute can't compare to what you contributed to the organization. But 4 years ago, I sat at this table after Dr. Sampson interviewed me, and he told me I had to go in front of a few members of the board, and you were one of them. And I appreciate the opportunity that you have afforded us to make this a part of our lives.
Nice,
Thank you.
nice things.
Jabbar? Ms. Ratcliffe, we would like to hear from you. I know you have a lot there.
Why aren't you sitting at the table?
Yeah, you sit here.
Well, I just have to comment on the fact of just what a wonderful friend you've been to World Medical Relief. And, years back, we had people that we could call on if we had donations, offers of donations coming in, and we could call on them, and Bruce was one. And I could call Bruce and say, Bruce, we have whatever in such and such an area, and his response always would be, if it'll fit in my car, Carolyn, I'll be glad to do that. So that was how it started, and it just continued on and on, Bruce, with everything that you've done, and then becoming such a valuable member of our board of directors, and sharing your wisdom as a former school teacher. That really has meant a lot to our agency. And I think the fact that you were here, I think that it was brought up by so many people. In order for anyone to be fully acquainted with an organization, you have to be here, and that certainly is what you have done. So congratulations, and we wish you all the best in your move.
Thank you. Well, at the closing, would you like to say something, Mrs. Carr?
He will do it.
Well, we thank all of you too, and this has been a lovely morning.
Yes.
And thanks for doing this.
Hello, my name is Josephine Jabara, and I'm the Director of Development at World Medical Relief. I would like to welcome you at World Medical Relief, which is a wonderful place to visit and to volunteer. Why don't you follow me when we take a tour of the building? This is the area where you will arrive, and volunteers sign in here. I am now in the medical instrument room. We have specialized volunteers that sort medical instruments that are donated to us, and then we package them and they too go on the container. We are now in the medical supply sorting area. It's an amazing place where stuff that's really discarded by our society is turned into life-saving goods for other societies. It's all good dated, what we ship. We don't ship anything expired. And Elsie here is one of our most valued volunteers. She will tell you what we do here.
So we sort these, they are donated from everywhere, hospitals and clinics, and sometimes some private donations. And they're sorted by category, where they are then resorted in the other part of the building and packed into gaylords. So as you can see, we have everything here all piled up. And we have volunteers that will come we have regular volunteers, but a lot of them come on weekends. So.
What you see here is really, truly a miracle. These are the completed gaylords. They're full of surgical supplies, orthopedic, basic patient care supplies. And these gaylords are filled because all our volunteers that helped us make this possible. The gaylords are shipped to different countries around the world in distress because of poverty, natural disaster, and war. And so a big shout out to our volunteers because they make it possible to help to save other people's lives. I would also like to invite you to come and volunteer. Give us a call, 313-866-5333, and ask how you can volunteer.